really excited about this recruiting class. Can't say enough about our coaches, teammates. The guys on the team that recruited all these guys. It's hard to put into words so much time and energy and effort we put into this, and it's been a lot of work. So very grateful for that, and ready to move on and get ready to play Iowa in a big bowl game. To be honest with you.
Mark, I know you can't talk about guys who aren't signed, but
Tony and Susan just informed me that was going to be the first question. So.
you recruit a guy for a really long time, and it's
Mm,
down to the wire, even apparently past the wire, those kind of things, how it keeps going on.
good. I'm going to leave my phone here in case something changes here. Yeah, we continue to work. Recruiting is a never-ending process, and regardless of a specific person that you may be asking about, there are others that we're working on as well. So it's really never ending, and so for us, we're going to just continue to do that. So.
Mark, even with all the success that you've had on the field, it seems like the recruiting process should get easier, yet it seems like it's getting harder and harder. Why do you think that is?
Well, that's a good question. It's always a battle and a fight. Um, to the best of my recollection and information I have in front of me, since I've been here, we've never been ranked in the SEC, even though we may have been nationally ranked in the top 25. I've never, by the experts, been ranked ahead of ninth, but yet we continue to seem like we outperform that. So it'd be nice to continue to raise, the talent level and see what we could do with it.
Is this your best class? I mean, the experts
But
think it is.
yeah, by national experts, it's my understanding that this is the best class that the University of Kentucky's ever signed. That's what Tony, to the best of his information, with the way they keep track of it and all that. That's the way we understand it. So.
Mike, one of the topics, at least defensively, recruiting this class, length was a big thing you guys wanted to add. Why is that so important for defense?
Length is important, across the board, and size. I want to be a big physical football team, and length matters. We have some very good football players on our team. One of the best, if not, one of the best players we have, without question. And Wandell doesn't have the length, but he's an unbelievable player. And so it's not always the case, but it's a big part of it. But there's been other years where we're going to take the best player available, and we still do. But I do make an emphasis on length.
Maybe one else would come back and decision's got to be made. But what Tavion, another transfer receiver, do you expect his impact to be maybe similar to what Wandell was able to do, or?
That's hard to say exactly, what that impact may be. But Tavion is a extremely good football player, explosive, can run, was one of the top punt returners in the country as well. So we need that. We need to fill that void with Josh and possibly Wandell leaving. So, he's a very good player, and we're excited to add him. I could say, with this, also some things that jump out at you as you talk about this class. We signed the #1 player in the state, in Dane Key. 4 top players in the state. You add that to the 16 we already have. That's 20 players in state. That's probably the highest number I've had since I've been here, I would think, unless maybe when I walked in the door. #1 player in Delaware, in Tomiwa, and then #1 or #2 player in the state of Tennessee. 3 of the top players in the state of Tennessee, in Barryon Brown, Keaton, and Destin Wade, and then number 3 player in Michigan, in Deion Walker. And you talk about size. You know, the length on him is amazing. Terrific player. Number 3 player in Pennsylvania, in Tyrese Fearby, the outside linebacker. And, you know, you put him with Keaton, those are 2 of the best edge rushers I think you could recruit. And 2 terrific players. But, you know, just overall, very, very proud of this group. And we're continuing to work and hopefully add to that number one in state. You know, so we'll see.
Is there going to be a battle between your offensive and defensive coaches to see where Kobe Albert plays?
Kobe, I think it could be. You know, it really could be, because he is a terrific player. Kobe can play, you know, defensive back or wide receiver for us and walk in the door. He might have to play both early on, to be honest with you, to see what his most natural fit is, and to see where he can maybe immediately help us. You know, we used to do that back in the day when we had a bunch of two-a-days and all that, like kind of rotate athletes like that until you figure out what's best for them, and we really may have to do that with him. It gets hard because you want to learn, and you got a guy like that that's so explosive that could come in and help you somewhere, but he truly can play either side. Pardon me? Oh, I mean, you take your pick. I can't point that out. I mean, you know, there's you go right down the list. I mean, yeah, Dane Key, you know, is a terrific football player. He's also very mature. You know, he's very intelligent. Works extremely hard. You know, so he definitely can. And you know, I'll go down and talk about each guy a little bit. But you know, Grant Bingham, you know, a guy from right here in Kentucky, Paintsville, big physical guy, highly recruited, 4-star guy. You know, terrific player, is going to help us. Barryon Brown, as high as a 5-star with certain people, extremely explosive. You know, hopefully he comes in and helps us right away. Tommy Waugh, as I mentioned, and number 1 player in Delaware, great defensive lineman, impact player. Alex Safari, we had you know, people going to extreme lengths right down to the wire to try to get him away from us. And Alex has been committed to us for some time. He's a DB, a big corner that can also be very versatile, playing that medium position that we know is so important for us, and could play safety. He's a guy that's a 5-position player in my eyes. Just a terrific football player. Kobe, we just mentioned, one of the best athletes we've recruited. Could play multiple positions. Jordan Anthony is one of the fastest players in the country. He's number 2 in the 100-meter. He told me he's going to get sub 10. I'm like, oh, okay, that's like ridiculous. But I mean, he's you know, he can absolutely fly. He's a burner that we needed. Tyrese Fearby, out of Pittsburgh, great outside linebacker. That length that we were talking about that we needed. Zay Frazier, big time length, 6'3", corner, junior college player, one of the top junior college players in the country that we needed. I wanted that size at corner. Nick Hall, you know, we needed him, and you know, obviously with his mom and dad playing at Kentucky, mom running track and dad playing football, a legacy recruit that was extremely important to us. Great player, terrific family. So we're excited about him. Quintel Jones, defensive lineman out of Peach County, a guy that, you know, our coaches worked extremely hard late in the process, and we were able to secure him, which we needed. Josh Caddis, the terrific tight end out of Moeller. Keep that tradition going out of Ohio, and the great Moeller players, and terrific tight end. Dane, I already mentioned Dane. He's a guy that I would expect to come in and play, you know, just because he has the size, he has that ability to make competitive catches, and the great length that he has, but he's also very sudden. Another legacy, and great player there in Dane. Tyshawn Manning. Tyshawn is a big physical guy, a transfer from Auburn. There's a guy that you talk about immediate help. We wouldn't recruit him if we didn't think he could come in and help us. Big, strong guy that's proven to play and play successfully in this league. Elijah Reed, a great length, another corner. He's a guy that played wide receiver and during the COVID year was a wideout, switched to corner, and he had that length that we were talking about. And so he really is a late bloomer and a guy we're very excited about. Tavion, again, a proven player that we needed that experience at that position to come in and help us. Terrific player. Jackson Smith, great field goal kicker, kicker from right here in Danville. Tough kid, plays on a terrific football team, terrific program, as we all know. Not only a kicker, but plays defense for him, so love that attitude from him. Andre Stewart's been committed to us for a while. Really big corner out of Atlanta that we needed, and excited about him. Destin Wade, quarterback, but a terrific player. Him and his brother Keaton, two terrific players out of Tennessee. Took their team to the state championship game. Top players in Tennessee, terrific people, great leaders. Going to be unbelievable fits for us. Dion Walker, as I mentioned, was a big get. Coach Wilford did a terrific job going into Detroit and keeping that streak alive and continuing to recruit and beat some terrific teams on him. And we felt good, but never really secure. It was a battle all the way to the end, and Coach Wolf did a phenomenal job with him, along with Barry on. We all know the big dog, which he's actually sick. I ran the big dog so hard he's sick, so I don't know if he's going to get with you guys tonight or not today, but I don't think he will. But he's, Vince always does a terrific job, but Wolfie landed some big-time players as well. And then Brandon White, another slot receiver out of Moeller that can just flat-out run. Terrific football player, but unbelievable speed that we're looking for. So if you look at the wide receiver position alone, you got experience, you got dynamic speed, you got height, and you got some playmakers. So and then you got a guy like Barry on, who's the complete package that we needed. So a lot of good football players. As I mentioned, we hit a lot of different states. I think right now, to this point, we got 4 out of Kentucky, 3 out of Ohio, 3 out of Georgia, 3 out of Tennessee. That's our kind of our main bread and butter. And then we got a lot of one-offs and guys, going to different parts of the country and landing some terrific football players.
When you go into a battle for some of these top guys against some of these other big schools, how much has that changed from early on when you were here? You got to think that you've got a lot more. You can battle a whole lot better with some of those big schools.
Well, I told you day one, sitting probably right here or wherever the heck we were, that I was going to battle, the best in the country, and we may not always win. We're going to win some, we're going to lose some, but we're going to fight and we're going to recruit at a high level, and we're continuing to do that.
You get 3 round early as a cornerback. How do you feel you address that position? I know your numbers get a little thin. It was kind of probably important to get a lot of guys there. How important is it to get some guys in here for the spring?
It was, just like we were certainly thin there, and 2 of our top 3 won't be back, and so we needed to address that position. And I like who we got. I like the length. I like the experience, the talent. So it was really important for me to address that position.
Not so much success with junior college corners in particular, with Brandon and Lonnie. How big is that with Zay being kind of the next round?
I think it was very important with Zay. He knows he has an opportunity here. When you're recruiting a junior college player, they're going to look at opportunity and what have you done. Do we have the ability to develop them quickly? And we've shown that. We had 2 corners that are playing big roles in the NFL in recent years that have come here, that have graduated, that have done very well, and we've turned it around quickly. They've helped us, and we've helped them.
Mark, when you were talking about Cody Albert, you had a few flashbacks to like when you recruited him then. I think he
Recruited Lynn, yeah.
And he came in and he said he wanted to play both ways.
Yeah.
Is he? I don't want to put that kind of pressure on him, but is he that kind of just
Yes,
player?
yes, I agree with you. I'm not comparing him, saying he's the next Lynn Bowden. I mean, that we're not saying that, neither of us are. But he's that kind of an athlete, just a great athlete. That just put a football in his hands and he's going to play. And so and then you put a basketball in his hands and you ought to see him dunk it. You know what I mean? So it's like he's explosive. He's a very good football player and could definitely play either side of the ball for us.
How concerned or unconcerned were you recently? It sounded like Brad was being courted.
I think that's a fair word. I don't know concerned if I'd use that, but I did not want to lose Brad. We as an organization did not want to lose Brad. He is a quality man and a great football coach. You know, he's a terrific. You know, he's a great person, great coach, very selfless, and you know he does a terrific job in all areas. He recruits at a high level. Maybe not getting all the credit, but recruiting all those defensive guys, evaluating those guys, does a terrific job. Really wants to fly under the radar. He did not want to mention this at all. But before, you know, he even decided to turn down some very lucrative offers and stay with us, you know, he was, you know, he donated his bowl bonus, you know, in its entirety and didn't want anybody to know about it. And I was like, Brad, if that helps motivate people to maybe give some more, then he understood that. He's like, that's a good idea. Because we do that at my fundraiser in the summer, kind of like matching and pushing people and motivating people to give. And that's the only reason he even brought it up. So very excited to keep Brad and Liam in our staff. You know, we're going to miss John Summerall, and we wish him nothing but the best. He recruited all the way through and helped us through with some of these guys, including Kobe and some guys, and that shows the class that John has and who he is. But he's moving on to a head coaching job, and we wish him well. But very excited to keep this group intact.
You were talking about your own extension. How big was the staff salary pool as part of the next investment? So you can pay like LSU in those schools.
Yeah, it was the most important. We all know I'm paid, you know, too much. You know, so for the staff and for the support staff, everybody talks about specifically recruiting budget. It's not recruiting budget. There's a lot to it. There's guys over here with me. You know, Chase Heike over here, and I could point out Chase. I mean, I can't even tell you the amount of hours that he works and what he does and what he puts into it. And so getting some support and some building, continuing to build our organization, that's all. So it's important. And so we had that conversation during the bye week. So everybody thought it was because maybe people were, you know, coming at us in different ways. It really wasn't about that. It was Mitch and I just simply having a conversation about what the expectations are, and if we're truly going to go compete for the East, if we're truly want to go win SEC championships, then are we truly going to continue to grow this program? It's as simple as that, and we all have a big commitment to do that. Once we agreed on those things and what you're talking about, building out the program, building out the support, then it was a done deal. It was over with then. And that's why you saw the articles of where, you know, when I'm talking with recruits parents and talking with Mitch, you know, it was done. You know, one thing about working with somebody for 9 years, going on 10, is that Dr. Capolito, Mitch, and myself, I trust them. And so when we have a conversation, we can have a handshake agreement. Now, agents don't like that, but but I know people I can trust. You know what I mean? And Jimmy is a big dog, but he still works for me. You know what I mean? So when people give me a handshake agreement, I trust this, you know, our president and our administration that it'll get worked out. And so we moved on quickly.
You mentioned the legacy signings. You got 3, I think. Is it as easy to recruit them as we would think?
It's never easy. We don't take anything for granted. And so with the legacy guys, I mean, sometimes it's harder, sometimes it's easier, you know, it just depends. But they're all terrific players, and, you know, we take nothing for granted and recruit them just as hard, if not harder, than anybody we recruit.
How excited was Liam about that wide receiver group? It looks like you guys got some really good guys.
Yeah, it's really important. As you know, we need to continue to build, you know, that position. And I'll tell you this, the guys we have on our team are getting better. As Liam and his system gets further along and we starting to get into another spring, and we'll get through bowl practice first, but, you know, we get these practices And then spring, you can see it. I can see it. I can see our guys getting better, and with the quarterbacks that we have now and with the system we have now, you see the growth and the players we have on our team getting better.
It seems like Liam is getting a pretty fair amount of credit for some of those guys too, bringing them into the class. What is he like as a recruiter, and has it been easy for him to train, to get used to?
You're right, and it's actually surprised me in some ways, that how good he's been. As I mentioned earlier, I think the relationship piece in coaching is at an all-time high. We've mentioned this, we've talked about that, the whatever you want to call it, the players coach, the relating to players, you know what I mean, I think that's at a premium. And so, you never know when a guy comes from the NFL how he's going to, but he relates very well to our current players, and he does an exceptional job in recruiting. And that's what I mentioned, Brad doing the same thing with all the defensive guys, and Liam with all the offensive guys. They really both do a terrific job.
Name, image, likeness, mark. A lot of people public about not liking it, some do. How do you feel like you and your staff dealt with that, I guess, in your first full class with having that just to deal with you over here?
I'm sorry, I've never done that before, but I promise you I'm working. Okay.
There was some people had
Negative comments about it yesterday, some
About what?
name, image, likeness.
first full class. How do you feel like you and your staff just kind of manage that whole situation?
I mean, it is what it is. I don't know who talked negative or positive. I don't really worry. I mean, in my opinion, I just go by what they tell me. What are the rules? What are they? It's definitely a factor, so you better embrace it, and you better be on board and support, and that's all we're allowed to do is support it. So until some rules change, it's a different world, but we're all adapting to it the best we can.
I know it can be used as an inducement recruiting wise, but do they ask about, what do your kids ask about it?
Well, they can ask our players. And so when you see and you feel the support for our current team, that has an effect on recruiting. So I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not, but I encourage to continue to help and support, because I mean that word gets out to other players, and our players have received some pretty good deals. And when I have time, I need to dive into it, educate myself some more, meet with our compliance people and see exactly what's going on, because a lot of it I don't know, but I know they can talk to a few of our players and realize real quick, if you make plays on the field, you're going to get paid some dollars. So it's kind of a direct correlation.
The other day about having conversations with guys who might enter the transfer portal, being honest with them about what their role is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
How do you balance that immediate need with development? I think about guys like Bunchy and Jamin who didn't play for like 3 years, and maybe early in their career might have transferred somewhere where they can play more. How do you tell guys that even if you're not playing right now, we still think you can beat us down the road? That's part of our evaluation and our conversation, and that needs to stay confidential and stay private, but anybody that we feel has that ability to be, to do that, then that's part of maturing, of growing, and that's still what we're all about. This is a different era. We're playing by the rules that they put before us, and this is free agency in some ways, and but the core of who you are still needs to be to recruit high school players and develop them, and and help them have a terrific college experience. But with this many guys on your roster, you can imagine there's going to be some turnover, and turnover is just part of it now. You might as well just accept it. I really don't even know why anybody puts it out there like it's big news. You know what I mean? It's just like that's daily news.
I think Vince had mentioned Elijah Reed as a guy that I think he was asked if there's a diamond in the rough in this group, and that was his response. A BB guy, what what do you see?
Now, you know that's the only reason you guys are missing the big dog here, because he gives you some one-liners. You know what I mean? You know you guys just can, you could serve one up to him and he's gonna take the bait. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but no, Elijah is a terrific player. I really believe that. You know, like I said, he is a different guy. He kind of bloomed late at corner, you know, with a shortened COVID season, playing wide receiver and then switching to corner, you know, but do you see the potential in him and in that great size as well?
Mark, is your recruiting,
Is that good news?
There's a picture of somebody signing.
I can't say. What's that? You just see that movie? I see nothing. That's a Youngstown thing.
it used to get better and better. Has it changed at all what you look for in a player now as compared to 3 years, 5 years ago?
Yes, I think it does. I think you still have to use, you know, your skills and your staff skills. Everybody using their, you know, because football, you still have to project out. You know what I mean? It's very hard. Sometimes you could watch the no-brainers, you know, NB. You know what I mean? Like watch three tapes or 3 cuts and you know that guy's a beast. But there's still a lot that goes into it, a lot of evaluation. We look at, you know, Chase, will we look at thousands of guys? I mean, you know, thousands and thousands of guys in the system. And, you know, we go through and, you know, you still have to trust that. But I think as we continue to build our program, it's fair to say that we're looking for a more polished player and, you know, certain dynamics that we always, you know, we always have set parameters of what we're looking for, and that does change, and those standards do change, you know, year to year.
Mark, are you breathing a little easier than you were maybe 2 minutes ago?
No, not yet. You guys try no more than me.
Mark, going through this, you look at the guy like Justin Wade, who was, everything I've seen is listed as athlete, but I see now this is quarterback. So where does he figure?
Destin is a terrific athlete, but he's also a very good quarterback. So that's what we're playing him at. And but he definitely could play multiple positions, that's for sure. And that's just a compliment to him. That's no knock on his quarterback skills. So it's more just a compliment rather than to say he's not a quarterback, because he's they're both just terrific athletes.
The rules are a little different this year. I think you can sign up to 32 guys. Do you anticipate that she'll get close to that number, or is it still too early to say?
It's still early to say. We crunch out numbers every day, you know, where we're at and what our depth is. And I'll say this, after this class and the transfers and what we're working on in the next month or two up to February, I feel really good about our roster. You know, we're starting to really get in a good spot with, you know, if you just look at all the position groups and where we're at with numbers and evening things out between offense and defense and position groups and all that. So it's constantly, we're constantly working at that, and that's one of the things that Eddie works with me quite a bit with. He has a big picture board on his, you know, office, and I'll walk in there and we just constantly work through that. Where we're at with numbers, what years players are, you know what I mean? Just keeping everything in balance, because it gets challenging year to year.
You mentioned earlier that, you know, recruiting never stops. This question will fall in line with that. What's the big area, based on what you just told us about that balance and how the roster looks like for this next pursuit?
The next group? I mean, God dang, can you give me 5 minutes? I mean, my feet have not hit the ground since the last game. I literally have not stopped. So somebody was like, yeah, you celebrating a great class yesterday with a bourbon. I'm like, yeah, I'm celebrating. I'm right on my couch with my feet up, trying to catch my breath for 5 minutes till I get in there today. So it's still going. Now we have to concentrate. We got to wrap up a few things, and then I should say we got to wrap up a big present, and then we have to, and then we got to get going on Iowa.
and so we've had some practices, but that was just good against good, just playing ball, getting guys out there running around, and really pleased with the way our guys retained things, in particular offensively. Defensively, we've been around for a while, so you expect them to come out of practice and be ahead. With offense, throwing, catching, precision, just all those things. I was impressed with the early practices. We'll get back at it today. So what we're doing is today will be a Monday, so we'll have a Monday, Tuesday, a Wednesday. Sunday I'm gonna do something fun with those guys. We'll see, and then do another Tuesday, Wednesday practice. So essentially, I'll have 2 Tuesdays, 2 Wednesdays before I leave. In football terms, you know what I mean? What we do, prepping for the game. So I want to be kind of totally prepared to play a football game when we take our break for Christmas. And obviously, we go down there and we'll have some more practices to brush up.
About
About that balance that you were speaking about the running back position, that's the only position that's missing. Is that because of the move of Drennan to running back and Wright's emergence? Or?
Yeah, we still have, 5 on the depth? 5. We're 5 deep with good players. That's why. It's hard to get 6 guys the ball. So.
Your offensive tackle, yeah, both currently and moving ahead.
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll be good. We got some guys that could swing. We got some guys that are coming along on the roster. We got some guys we're recruiting. So we'll get it straight by next year.
Everybody, fans and media alike, are really excited about the success on the recruiting front. You yourself seem energized. Is this fun for you to get in there and battle and see where you've gone from beginning to now?
Oh, it's always, recruiting is nothing but a different type of competition, so yes, I mean, we're constantly battling and fighting, and that's what it is. I mean, you've heard me use that analogy many different times because it's true. Whatever it is, when I step out of here and I go back to my office, I'll be fighting something. I'll be in a battle with something. I just told my secretary she's going to start boxing people out of my area. Give me 5 minutes. You know what I mean? But no, it's fun. It's it's good, and I'm excited to get on to Iowa. I tell you, I've already stepped in the coordinators' rooms and watched film on both sides of the ball of Iowa, and gets me excited to start that, get going. Obviously, the coordinators have been prepping, and the coaching staffs, they're ready to go today for a Monday practice, and we're in pretty good shape. We're working on that game plan already, but it's going to be a real challenge. I love watching the film of Iowa because I love how fundamental they are. They really are a good football team, so well coached. It really puts a smile on my face because it's like they are truly well coached, and just the technique and the effort that they play with is fun to watch, and that's what I want to look like. And we have a good football team, but I constantly want to look the right way, like we're well coached and put in a position to be successful, and we want to constantly get better. And so I'm ready to get back out to practice today.
I asked this somewhat in just with you, but you had so many good things been said about your experience at Iowa, and they said the same thing about your family, and Kirk steps in with the tornado relief.
Yeah.
Do you need somebody from the Hawkeyes to say something bad about you?
That chip on your shoulder?
I do. I need that. Don't worry, I got some of my buddies that I played with. They'll say some stuff. They'll get the EV going. But yeah, I do. I do like going into the game with a chip on your shoulder. You're right about that. But no, I want to end by saying this again. Really, thank you to all the folks that have helped. With the people of Western Kentucky, our athletic department, our players in all different sports, our coaches in so many ways, everybody that stepped up, all the people that are helping with the recovery that's going on right now, and people that are constantly stepping up. Really can't thank you enough. We get isolated in our own little worlds, and it only took a few minutes to watch some of the damage and watch some news and see what was going on, to step out of your own little box and try to help in some small way. And so many people have done that. I can't thank them enough. And part of that is Kirk Ferentz and his wife Mary and the people of Iowa, the Citrus Bowl folks, Clark Lee and Vanderbilt University,
and their football team. Just thank you to all those folks. Really, truly amazing to see the way people respond, and so many more. But it's been a great tribute to our great people in Kentucky, and we're all thankful for it, and we got to continue to help where we can. I want to wrap up, but
Hang out for a while.
Keep asking questions.
we could kind of just have a little shoot the breeze session if you want. That's fine.
We good?
I mean,
Okay, well, let's just.
give me 5 minutes.
SEC front fit Nashville, Birmingham area, Atlanta. Do you feel like your all's message is getting better accepted year by year? That your all's brand is, like when you go on these high schools, it's, oh, that's the team. They just beat Florida or did this or that. Do you feel like you all are more getting more receptive when we're down in these areas?
There's no doubt, when you go in to Alabama and get Kobe, a guy like that, and get 3 of the top players in Tennessee, and go into Pennsylvania and the other areas of the Deep South that you talk about and do well. I think as we get better, our brand gets better, it definitely helps us. And I think our bread and butter is still got to be Kentucky and Ohio and branch out from there. But you see a lot of one-offs on here, and we'll continue to do that. And, and with Vince, I got to, again, give a shout out to Vince, because he gets overextended. He does a lot. He does a terrific job. I put him in Kentucky a few years back, and he's done a terrific job in Kentucky, because we want to lock down our state. And then, he still gets 3 great players out of Ohio. And, we could continue to, we'll continue to do that. We still got to make, continue to make Kentucky and Ohio a priority, and then continue to branch out from there.
Do you have an idea of how you want to go about replacing John, or what that might look like?
Yeah, I got to put some time and thought into that. It's different because, as you know, I want to make sure I always have like coordinators in place. Should have Brad left, this year, John, was definitely in line to do that. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration. You got recruiting, you obviously have coaching, but for me, it's also big picture guys. This game is hard and complicated, and you really have to stay up. You need multiple coordinators on each side of the ball. So you need guys with great experience and big picture ideas. So that position will definitely, that'll be one thing. If you're asking for one thing specifically, I want to make sure I have a coordinator type of big picture guy that can help us, that can help Brad and help our defensive staff continue to grow and get new ideas and stay up with the times, because this game evolves constantly.
John helping finish recruit this class. He's going to come back and coaching the bowl games. I guess, what do you think that says about his commitment to this?
Doesn't surprise me. I mean, John is just terrific human being, great family. Him and Jenny and the kids, and heck, he couldn't miss that. His wife would kill him. I mean, going to Orlando, you got to get him to the, so. But no, but he finished out the recruiting. He stayed and did things. He's a class act, and he's done a great job for us. And we wish him and Jenny nothing but the best.
Is he angling for a game?
Pardon me?
Is he angling for a game yet?
I don't think he's barking up that tree yet. Tell him to bring it on, though.
Being back in Alabama area, do you feel like that certain players that maybe he knows about, that he feel like deep down inside he can't get him, but he knows he's thinking?
Maybe yeah.
Can you sort of help come in your way?
Maybe he does a great job. He does a terrific job, down in Alabama, and being from there and knowing a lot of people. So yeah, he does a really good job, and so he'll do a good job with that. Yeah, he can always help us.
Do we see you branch into a new recruiting territory because a coach you hired has a connection there? Why Nashville this year specifically? Why have you kind of emphasized that?
I mean, there's a lot of people moving there. You know, it's a big area, you know, a lot of people. And the football's getting better and better there as well in that state.
We expect Vince to land everybody he goes after. What's he like when he misses on somebody?
He gets competitive like all of us, you know, he's, you know, but it's going to happen. You know, we got to keep on swinging. And you know, he's like any of us. He gets competitive and frustrated because, you know, the biggest thing, you know, for anybody is your time, right? And so we invest a lot of time in this. And so that's where some of it is frustrating, you know, is maybe you're recruiting somebody and you put all kind of effort into somebody and we fly all over the place. In his case, he drives a lot. Big dog likes to have his wheels and driving all over the place. And then, you know, doing these things that maybe you know all along you don't have a shot or whatever. And that's the kind of, you know, some of the frustration. But you're dealing with young people. You know, young people aren't always going to be, yeah, let's just leave it at that. You're dealing with young people.
As far as the bowl game, is anybody opting out that you're aware of?
I don't know of. No.
Do you expect this year's bowl game to be back to closer to normal than, you know, last year with the different bowl experience? Do you expect kind of activities and that kind of stuff?
I do expect it back to normal as we can be in this day and age. But yes, it'll be really good for our players. I know they were excited to go back to Orlando. They had mentioned to me that even prior to making the bowl announcement, some of the guys were saying, Coach, I hope we get back to Orlando, because they really enjoyed that experience the last time they were there. So that tells me they like it, that the activities were good, and the bowl was first class, and all those things, because the players don't lie to you, and they really loved it the last time we were there, and didn't hurt that we capped it off with a victory, as I mentioned to them. You know, the most important thing, what they will remember the most is the outcome of that game and how you walk off it.
Mark, you mentioned the trust that you had to the people at the top level of the administration. When you look down the road at Louisville, there's all that turnover. As a football coach, how important is that for you to have stability up there at that level?
Well, for me, you know, I can't comment on any place I'm not at, so I won't comment on Louisville or anybody else. But for me, it's extremely important to have trust and to have that relationship. And so we've been together, you know, the continuity that we've had with the president, the athletic director, and myself is extremely important. And, you know, it's one of the reasons that kept my brother at Oklahoma for 19 years, and it's a big piece of, you know, of why and what I like so much about this place.
Got anything you can joke?
Well,
What's your favorite group? Tell us more about the Stoops column.
I'm the Grinch. Brought Alex with me today. Alex stopped over to say hi to me, and I said, "Well, I got 1 minute. Let's walk over to my press conference." So
How do you think your brother's going to do coaching the bowl game? And
he'll do just fine. He's got a lot of experience. No, I think he'll be just fine. I think, you know, I think he was excited to hand over those recruiting reins to Coach Venables, to Brent, you know, because I think that 1 week that they activated him and make him go back to full time, I think that was enough for him to, you know, realize that retirement's good.
you're good to go.
Good to go? Okay, I am.
One more thing.
Lon.
I want what role did Bob play in your decisions to stay put? But I know Oklahoma maybe the most likely place.
No, he played no part in my decision. I mean, I consult with Bob, and you know, we're brothers, and we are very close. But he played no role in what I do. You know, as far as it's going or staying. You know, and he wouldn't want that. He gives me advice when I need it, and we talk and consult. But other than that, that's it.
But I am proud to wrap up the 2022 signing class by announcing Keontae Goodwin to the class. So it is official from my understanding. Well, if I get in trouble, it's on you guys. But we are happy to welcome Keontae, the big fella, into our organization officially. As I talked with Keontae last night, I said, welcome to the program. However, it feels like you've been a part of it for nearly a year now or more. We've recruited and known Keontae since he was in 8th grade. I want to say 8th grade or 9th grade, or that transition between 8th and 9th. So we've known him for a long time, built strong relationships with him and the people close to him, and a terrific young man, unbelievable football player, and we're excited to add him to our program.
How nervous were you yesterday?
I wouldn't say nervous. I would say, it's just constant. It's just work. It's just constant work, and we got it done.
What do you like about him from a football standpoint?
A football standpoint, number one, it's very rare to see a human being move at that size. He is unbelievably athletic for his size. He can move his feet, he can bend, he could do a lot of things, and that's rare for somebody so large. We talked about it, length and size matters, being physical at the line of scrimmage. And so, that's a big get for us just with the size alone. If you see him and Dion next to each other, there was a picture at the All-Star game with him and Dion next to each other. Those are two large human beings, and on both sides of the line of scrimmage. And so those are two good anchors.
I don't know what these guys are gratifying, but when you were on a guy for so long, all these years, how gratifying is it to finally have that all done?
It's very gratifying, and it's a lot of hard work, a lot of years. Coach Morrow has spent so much time, with him along with all of our staff, and so that's really, a really big get for our program, because here's a young man that could truly play anywhere in the United States. Any college in the country would take his signature today, and so. For us to land him, again, it says a lot about him and staying committed to us. I felt good about it the whole time. That doesn't mean you count it in the bag, but you continue to work and answer questions and do the best you can. Again, it's a credit to Coach Morrow and the countless hours that he has put in, recruiting this young man and our whole staff. But that's who we are. I think Keontae comes in. He comes and sees me right. Where's my room? Over here. My my little office down here before games, and he comes in. Every time he's in town and brings people in to meet me. He always has a smile on his face, and terrific young man. And I'm happy to officially welcome him into the family.
You said before the sign of a good program is being able to play veterans and let the young guys sit and them come up through. But from what you've seen from Keontae, what do you think he has a chance to start year one?
Well, I would never put it past him. I mean, yes, he has that ability, and it's always about whenever we talk to anybody like that, when they say, "What's my opportunity to come in and play as a freshman?" Our answer is always, "That's up to you." I can't determine the way somebody's going to pick things up, how fast it moves once they get here and everything. So you have to go play and see. Athletically, it's a no-brainer. And I also think he's very mature in a lot of ways. Maybe not always. He's a young man, and we got to continue to bring him along, like so many great people around him have developed him. We have to continue to do that with him. And then, but then you get him on campus and you see what he can do. So that's up to him. But I know he likes to work. I know he trains hard, and he's very serious about his craft. And so we'll see where it goes.
Is he going to be enrolled in January too?
That's the plan.
Mark, how do you I've seen you offer a few middle schoolers over the year, not many.
Not many.
How do you gauge when you do something like that? It's
Only-
hard to predict.
The two I remember offering, the youngest was him and Landon. And Landon went on to be a 5-star. Keontae's a 5-star, you know, so it's kind of those NBs that I was talking about, right? No brainers. Even at that age, you know, but sometimes you see a young man and you see him. There was another young man that I remember as an 8th, 9th grader. His name was Everson Griffin. Remember him from, we ended up going to USC, but we recruited him at Arizona. He came to our camp as an 8th grader, and we were all like, wow, that's an athlete. And, you know, some guys you could just tell that are very big, but still very athletic, and at a young age. And, you know, those are just 3 guys that I could think of right off the top of my head that all, you know, panned out.
Does this group of guys, including the one, give you a chance to kind of keep that ball rolling with the O-line and kind of being...
It's pretty solid.
O-line university.
Yeah, we got a pretty solid O-line group right there, and that's big. We needed to. We needed to right now. We needed a really solid class there, and so it was good to get that to continue that. Yeah.
Mark, in your years of recruiting, who's the best athlete you've ever seen?
Ooh.
Alex says percent.
Yeah, you put me on the spot there, but I'm gonna give you one. Today was Sean Taylor. Even he's a tough critic. This guy, he argues with my son more than I argue with. So they are, but yeah, I think you know, Sean was just, you saw that length and that athletic ability, and a guy that could play any, really, he could probably truthfully went on to college and played, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7 different spots. You know what I mean? Not only on defense, but on offense. I mean, he could play a lot of positions.
Coach, just a note, including Keontae, their national recruiting rankings now 10th, 11th, and 13th.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And Keontae, you know, I could say he's the number one, when I was talking about the number ones and the high picks, the number 1 player in Indiana, but really he's Louisville. You know what I mean? So we count him in state because that's really where we recruited him from the start, you know, from in-state. And so that puts another guy, really, that puts us, the way we look at it, 5 from Kentucky this year. And, you know, signing him out of Louisville and one of the top players, you know, in state along with Dane.
Okay. Last one, anybody else?